I'm going to show you today how I use Jamboard to create my planner for the year for teaching my courses. You can see here in front of you, I have a planner for instructional segment 5 for my biology classes. This happens to be last week. This is this week. And the nice thing is that when something took too long, maybe I didn't get a chance to do my irradiated seed data here, I can move it over here. The little check marks here means I've had it copied because sometimes I don't remember what I've sent to the copy center or what I've programmed online, whether it's an Edpuzzle or a Google Classroom assignment. And so let me show you how I do this. First, I'm going to start with an untitled jam, and you can get to that from your Google Drive. You can click on Jamboard and do an untitled jam, a new blank slate. And we want to do a background because you can see here that I have a background of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I have my lesson, I have my homework, and this is just for one class. It's not my whole day. This is just my planner for biology. So I have this background. Let me show you how I make the background. So this is this year's background, 55 minutes a day, except 41 for our Wednesdays, which are late start. And I have reminders to do over here, and I have my week over here. And so next year, if we had the same schedule, then I could just make a copy of the current planner, change my date to whatever, go forward or one day. And then I can just move things around as I need to. Here I had a sub, so I had them do an online lab. Next year, I probably won't have a sub on the same day. And so I can move things around as needed from year to year. So let me show you how I do it. The first thing is that I create a template on Google Sheets. And so with Google Sheets, I just sort of create the boxes that I want. This happens to be our schedule for next year. So I've created the template here. For our schedule, we have blocked for periods 1 through 6, and then period 7 is actually every day. It has to do with the new California law or how our schools have to be structured, starting no later for academics later than 8:30. And that's just a modified version. Me telling you is not all the details of the new law. And so this is our schedule for next year. And so I know that for period 7, if I have a period 7, I will need to kind of split what I block in these two sections into different days. So you can edit, of course, you can make it how you want to make it. Maybe you start up here with a bell ringer. And so I can insert a row below, and I can have an opener or a bell ringer here. And I can do it like that, and I can block it off like this. So it's a separate box here, and right here, I can make a separate box like that. And then I've got to shrink that up a little bit for the lesson so that I can make sure my homework fits into my snip, and I'll show you what I mean by a snip. So I want to kind of get it about this big here. And then I'm going to use the snipping function, snip and sketch. And I'm going to, when you see the snip and sketch, I'm going to click new. And I'm going to highlight the area that I want to here make a snip of. Actually, is not quite right. So let me do it again. And so I want this whole thing right here. Now you have to save it as an image. It won't copy and paste into Jamboard. So Jamboard has some limitations. Jamboard does not allow links to put in as of yet, although I keep informing Google that's what I want. And it doesn't have copy and paste functions outside of your Jamboard. So this can't be copy pasted. So it's really easy to just save this figure as a Jamboard template with bell ringer. And I'll just save it to my desktop for now. And now what I can do is I can go to my Jamboard and I can click set background, choose my image. So I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to look for Jamboard template with the bell ringer. And here it is. And now I have my template. So what I can do is, let's say I want to do it per month. So I can do it for the month of August, but I would need 4 different weeks or 3 weeks for the month of August. Or I do it by unit. So unit 1, I start with unit 0 in AP Environmental Science. And so what I do is I just go up here to the top. Let me show you again. You just go up here and you're going to click duplicate. And now your template's already on these. So I have my background and now I'm going to go add my week of. So the first week of school for us is August 9th, which is Tuesday. So I'm going to put the week of August 8th. For the week of August 8th, it's a traditional, well, it's weird. Monday's a work day for teachers. And so I can just put that here, work day, like that. And I can just kind of put that here. And then school starts, but this is a traditional schedule on our first day of school. And that just reminds me it's not block. So I can do that here on the first day of school. And then the rest of this template works. The other thing you can do if you have more time is that you can actually make one that's special. You just have to modify it. So like here's the template I made with school starts, all periods, 50 minutes. And that's what I just made for the first week of school, just because I had a little more time. But you don't have to do these changes if you don't want to on a Google Sheet. I'll show you what I mean with a different unit planner. So this is my current unit 0. I kind of start with an introductory unit in AP Environmental Science. And so I also place check marks, and how you place a check mark is that you have to save an image. So on the internet, I saved an image of a check mark, and then I have to add that image. And I can get it off of, I just saved it to my desktop. Here is the check mark, open, and it's going to add it to my document. Then I can shrink it to size, and then I can just make a bunch of duplicates, duplicate, duplicate, or just within Jamboard, you can do copy paste. So I can do Control-C, V to paste. And when I do that, I just sort of move these to the side until I am done making my copies, and then I move it over. So as soon as I send my plate tectonic diagrams to the copy center, I'll put a check mark here so I know that I've done those copies, because sometimes I forget. Or when I programmed the sticky notes on Edpuzzle, I'm going to put a check mark there. And I haven't done that programming because it's for next year. Sometimes they get a little messy here. I like to make a lot of notes to myself too. Like I have a little note here that says make 2 versions of the exam, because I noticed that even though I separate my students, they still can see sideways, or to diagonals. So I'm going to make 2 versions of this exam. And so I give myself little notes, especially for next year. So I always make myself notes like, hey, do this for next year because this happened for this lab. You need to do these things in this order. And so it's really nice because the next year I can just open this up. So let me show you how I would modify. Well, actually, let me show you how I modified first. Kind of some weird schedules within my unit 1. And if that's all you want to learn, then that's all you want to learn. You can stop the video, but I'm going to show you how I changed my template a little bit. So starting the week of August 15th, I'm going to start my unit 1 for AP Environmental. And then it's going to be a couple of weird schedule right in here. So the week of August 29th, we have a minimum day, all periods. So instead of changing my background template, I just put a note here that this is only our blue block, periods 1, 2, 3, and this is a minimum day, all periods. And then these 2 got flipped around in our schedule. So it's usually blue and then silver, but they flipped them around because the blue block's here. And so I just put these notes here so I didn't have to make a new template. And then the following week is weird as well. That's Labor Day. The silver block is here when normally it's the blue, periods 1, 2, 3. And it was really nice to plan in Jamboard because I really had to think about it. Okay, I'm going to get a big block for these periods here and here, but this lab needs a 2 to 3 day break. So how am I going to do a setup and then 48 hours or no more than 3 days later, I'm going to take data. And it was just a lot of switching around. No, wait, I can do this here. Wait, I'm going to move this. I'm going to move that, or not that, that's homework. Here. And the Jamboard made this really, really easy to figure out how to do that. For next year, this is my current traditional schedule. This is instructional segment 5 for biology. And so all I have to do to switch this for next year is change my background. So I'm going to set my background. I'm going to pick the new template here on desktop. And here is my new Jamboard template. So it's going to replace the template, but everything still looks like it's every day. So now I know, and now I can switch around. Okay, well, I could probably do this engage activity. I can do this on the same day. I may be able to start this, although I wasn't sure about this. It wasn't really that necessary this year. So I can put a little note like, didn't need to do with other activities that we did in class, so I could save time next year and not necessarily do that. But anyway, I can make all these changes to this year so I can see what I did this year. I have my new background and I can move things around for next year. And so that's going to make it really easy. And of course, for next year, I'm going to have to move all my check marks back because I haven't made the copies yet for these items 1 year from now when I plan this. All right, so that is how I plan using Jamboard. I hope it's helpful for you.